Welcome to the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast, where I'm dedicated to helping you take control of your life. I'm Sue Saller, and I'm excited to be your host on this journey. I'll be bringing you inspiring stories, practical tips, and expert advice to help you overcome obstacles, set and achieve your goals, and live the life you've always wanted. Together, we'll discover that making small changes is not only possible, but can lead to big results. Join me now as we explore the power of positive thinking, the art of goal setting, and strategies for success. Are you ready? Let's go do this. Welcome to the Small Steps, Big Wins podcast, where today's Monday Morning Matters unpacks the things that you can start doing today to take action that'll change your tomorrow. In episode 23, I talked with Kyle Wakeman and Randy Meyers. They started the Ideal podcast, and they have a coaching program around these ideal skills. Their ideal skills stands for intentional, discipline, emotional intelligence, accountability, and loyalty. Now, if you want to find out more about what they mean, go back and listen to episode 23, where they talk about what these skills are and how they use them in their coaching business. For today, we're going to listen to their words of advice that weren't released with the original podcast. So let's drop into the conversation to find out what they would suggest you can start doing today. Guys, from your experiences, what's something that you would encourage someone to do today that'll help change their tomorrow? What advice do you want to leave them with?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me is be intentional. There was so long where I wasn't intentional with my money. I wasn't intentional with my time. I wasn't intentional with who I surrounded myself. Once I really started being intentional, so I'll go back to when I joined Emerge Super, back then it was just Emerge, but that was May of last year. And in less than a year, so 10 months, I feel like a completely different person. I have found my purpose in life. I was able to leave my W-2 job permanently this time. I have 2 rental investment properties now. We've started our own business. My marriage is better than it's ever been before. And that was all through just being intentional and taking those actions to do it and leveraging that discipline in order to be intentional and do all those things that I necessarily didn't want to do. All those things that Randy and I just said that we do on a day-to-day basis, we don't necessarily want to do them. We get satisfaction out of doing them, but do I want to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning? No, I want to sleep in my nice warm bed. Do I want to go to the gym and drive, especially when we live in Northeast Ohio, we're in Cleveland. In the winter, it sucks, but it's about that growth, like Randy said, and focusing on that. But it all comes down to being intentional. And I think one of the most important things with being intentional is who you're surrounding yourself with. If you want to be a successful real estate investor, you better surround yourself with other successful real estate investors. You want to be a successful podcast host, surround yourself with successful podcast hosts. It just comes down to that. And sometimes that's going to be hard because there's not room for everybody in your life that you currently have. And some of those relationships are going to fall by the wayside. And sometimes that happens for a reason. It doesn't mean you have to cut people out necessarily, but just build intentional boundaries and keep them in place. And sometimes that can be hard with your friends, your family, stuff like that. But the people that will support you and that want to grow with you, they'll still be there when you're on this journey.
So Kyle talked about being intentional and think about who you are surrounding yourself with. So let's ask yourself a couple of questions. So what's one thing you can be intentional about this week? It could be something like, I'm going to drink 80 ounces of water a day, or I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. 3 days a week and go to the gym. Whatever you're going to be intentional about, make sure your goal is specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Kyle also talked about who he surrounds himself with. Now, some questions you can ask yourself are, do my friends encourage me to be my best self? Or are my friends doing those things that I want to be doing or achieving? Here's another one for you. Are my friends dragging me down? There's a saying that goes, you are the sum of the 5 people you hang around with the most. So take stock of who your friends are and think about who you hang out with the most. Now, if some of those friends aren't serving you, it might be time to let them go. I know it's hard, but it'll definitely be worth it in the long run. So let's listen to Randy's advice.
If I could give any advice, it would be to take action now. We've said this a few times now. You have to take action, but I mean take action now. Not I'm going to wait until Monday to start eating healthy. I'm not going to wait until the next month starts to start exercising. I'm not going to wait until New Year's so I can make a resolution. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect because it's not going to be perfect, but if you take action now, and it could just be one small change, like like the title of the podcast, a small step. You're taking a small step, and over time it's going to be a big win. Like it Kyle and I just didn't start all this stuff at once. For me, it was I just need to take accountability, and then that led to many other things along the way. So take action right now. Don't wait.
So Randy's advice was to take action now. And did you catch it? It doesn't have to be a big action. You can pair his advice with what Kyle was saying about being intentional. So when you're intentional about something, don't put it off. Go do it now. If you're stuck and you're not sure what to do next, I want you to take a listen. Okay, some great advice. What suggestion would you have for somebody who's listening to you about being intentional and then taking action, but they hear those words and they go, I don't know what action I should take or what should I become intentional with? Could you help somebody just focus those thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, for me, and I know Kyle's the same way with this. Like we're saying that these skills are important and they're the center of our lives. They're also our biggest challenge. Like these things are not easy. I can say that I'm going to be accountable or I'm going to be intentional, but actually doing it on a daily basis is hard. Like I get upset sometimes, so I got to be emotionally intelligent. You have to keep these things at the forefront of your mind, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like we're trusting the process. It's not about the overall outcome. Can I be 1% better than I was yesterday? So when you are looking at these skills, don't get so worked up in, oh, I don't know what to be intentional in, or oh, I don't know what to be disciplined in. Just start with one small step. So if you want to make a change, one change in your life is you want to start exercising, then set your alarm for 5 a.m. and get up in the morning and exercise. You're starting with one thing. Don't try to take on the whole world at once.
Yeah. And my thought on that would be to, again, like Randy, it doesn't matter what it is. Honestly, if you just want to get started on this path, just pick something. It might not be perfect. You're never going to have perfect action. Take imperfect action. So let's say, again, you can do anything. You need to read a couple pages a day. Just do something that you're not doing currently and apply these 5 skills to it. You can apply these 5 skills. I haven't found a situation or a thing yet where I couldn't apply all 5 of these skills to that thing. I can apply it to jujitsu. I can apply it to reading. I can apply it to friendships. I can apply it to being an employee, being a leader, being a business owner, being a real estate investor. You can do it to anything. So just pick one small thing and start doing it. And the other thing too, you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do it alone to start. There are so many people out there willing to help. Get an accountability partner. But the important thing is that accountability partner shouldn't have to hold you accountable forever, and they're not going to be able to. So it's about borrowing that accountability and turning that external accountability intrinsically and turning that external accountability into ownership. Because again, like all, my friends that I'm texting with accountability, I can't do that forever, right? That's impossible. And eventually it just becomes habit. One, taking that first action and being intentional, being disciplined about it, leveraging emotional intelligence, holding yourself accountable, as well as having that external accountability partner. Because here's the thing, I can text you and I can say, hey, did you get your water in today? And you could say, yeah. Do I know if you did that or not? Absolutely not. And the only person you're really lying to is yourself. And you're never going to see progress if you're lying to yourself. So it's about holding yourself accountable. Yeah. And then that loyalty piece is, if you're setting goals, you better be loyal to yourself and you better keep that in the back of your mind. Right. And when you take that action and you start this journey, you're going to have a positive impact on everyone around you. If you're more intentional, disciplined, emotionally intelligent, or if you're more intentional, disciplined, emotionally intelligent, accountable, and loyal, you're going to see so many people around you start to absorb those skills. Now there's going to be some detractors too that don't appreciate what you're doing, and they're going to be too afraid to do that, and they're going to lash out at you. So you just have to understand that that's coming and leverage these 5 skills to navigate that situation as well. So just get out there and start getting after it.
So again, your changes don't have to be big, and something is definitely better than nothing. There were 3 big takeaways from today's episode. 1, be intentional about the area of your life that you want to change. 2, surround yourself with people you want to be like. And 3, take action now. Don't wait. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I want to thank you for listening to my podcast. I value your time with me because I realize you could be listening to someone else right now. If you got any value or you think someone else can benefit from what you heard, please spread the word, hit subscribe, and check out my website at www.suesaller.com. Please drop me an email and let me know what your big win was for the week. I would love to hear from you. Remember, life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by choice. Take small steps and make today awesome, friends. God bless.